I should have allowed a time to respond to the senator's question. I did not interrupt him, and now he's interrupting me.
Please.
It is another violation of the decorum of this place.
Go ahead, Senator Bondi.
Senator Cornyn, both you and I have spent our lives. I know your record. I know your history. I know what you've done. I would never, ever question whether you care about the victims of a heinous crime.
Mr. Chairman, please help me.
You ask me if I care? Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, I'm not finished yet.
Well, thank you for answering the question.
Well, I'm going to answer the question in full. You are not sincere.
Let me explain.
Sir, he has put an amendment in.
Would you allow
trying
me,
to use the horrific nature
Would you allow me as sponsor of this bill to
Sir,
explain?
I will not pick a fight with Chuck Grassley in the same way that Chuck Grassley won't pick a fight with me.
The reason for his amendment is because your amendment says that this bill that we're working on will not go into effect until we get all these records. And this bill is an opioid bill to help solve some of the drug problems in this country. And we ought to get it passed because it's a bipartisan bill and it's very badly needed.
Sir, may I respond?
Yes.
So I said at the top of my comments, my frustrations, we've said it to your staff, we've said it to others, that when funds like this have been made available so far in the first 6 months, they're clawing back funds from my state. And that's unfair, and I would like to deal with those. We could deal with them. And given that, I am sticking to an amendment that is not controversial. Okay. I know it's not controversial, sir, because I've seen polling literally on Republican channels that the overwhelming majority of Republicans and Democrats want transparency and accountability. That the overwhelming majority of Americans has seen that one of these two things is lies. Is there truckloads full of evidence as to victims of crime not having justice? Have we been lied to? Who are we trying to protect? What are they trying to hide? This is not controversial. We have Republican leaders in Congress calling for the same thing that this amendment calls for. And so for a second degree to be offered to mine, where you're using horrific crimes to hide the real intention of this, if this amendment is so important, just strike the first two lines that strikes my entire amendment. The intention of this is clear. It's to not give the American people accountability, transparency, and truth. That's what we as the Judiciary Committee should be seeking. So I offer a third-degree amendment, preserving every noble thing that the senator from Texas said he wanted.
You can't offer a third-degree amendment.
I can't offer a third degree. Then I ask that we strike the true intention of his amendment, the first two lines.
At this stage, you can't offer a third-degree amendment. If there's some way for you to do that, I don't know what it is.
Yes, may I respond?
Yes.
Briefly?
Then we'll have a roll call vote, because I know you folks want to get votes on your amendment. I asked you to withdraw them, and you aren't withdrawing them. So
well, I just want to ask a question, Mr. Chairman. In your opinion, would the addition of these amendments to the underlying bipartisan bill jeopardize our ability to pass this underlying bill, anti-opioid bill, out of committee and across the Senate floor and get it enacted into law? Would these amendments jeopardize that?
I see them jeopardized in ways even beyond what you said.
So,
because if we pass the legislation with this stuff on, it wouldn't go into effect anyway. Who knows how far down the road? When the president signs the bill, I want it to be effective.
That's what I thought, and I appreciate your answering the question. I think the debate that Senator Booker and I have is not something that's going to be resolved today. And so it will continue. So I think regardless of how we act on the underlying bill, that debate will continue, and neither he nor I are giving anything up in terms of our ability to continue to debate this topic. But I'm willing to withdraw my amendment if Senator Booker's willing to withdraw his amendment in the interest of passing this bipartisan anti-opioid bill out of the committee and through the Senate and seeing it enacted into law and hopefully saving some lives in the process.
Senator Booker.
Mr. Grassley, sir, I have asked for someone to address my New Jersey concerns for months now. There was an incident in which you got a special carve-out for your state when they froze funds, but I have got no justice for New Jersey. So if you want to postpone this and address my New Jersey concerns about the resources we are not getting, and I know you would do that with me in good faith, I would be happy in our next meeting, but right now I am sticking with my amendment.
It'd be faster to address your concerns for New Jersey if you'd asked me to help you with the administration to get something done so you can get your money.
Sir, I've got no, I'm not from you.
Then if you do it through the legislative process, tell me that. Let me make a conversation with the White House on your issue.
But I'm going to stick with my amendment until I get satisfaction on
Okay?
that.
The clerk will call the roll.
And what are we voting on? I have no idea. On my amendment?
No, we're voting.
It's the second degree.
Call the roll on the Cornyn amendment.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz. Aye. Mr. Hawley. Aye. Mr. Tillis. Aye. Mr. Kennedy.
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Blackburn.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Schmidt. Aye.
No.
Mrs. Britt.
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Moody. Mr. Durbin.
No on concealing the Epstein files.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cruz.
No by proxy.
Mr. Blumenthal.
I vote no because I vote no on concealing the Epstein file.
Ms. Rono.
No by proxy.
Okay.
Mr. Booker.
I vote no on this effort to conceal the Epstein files.
Mr. Padilla. Mr. Welch.
No, I'd like the Epstein files.
Mr. Schmidt.
No on concealing the Epstein files.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 12, the nays are 10.
Okay, the Cornyn amendment is adopted. Now we will go to the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. So his second degree, which had nothing to do with immigration, which was to conceal the Epstein file, Senator Cornyn's effort to conceal the Epstein files right here on 1 and 2 has now violated my amendment. There is no amendment anymore. It passed.
That's right.
And Cornyn is saying, yes, I did something to stop the American public from seeing the Epstein files. It renders my amendment moot. That was the intention of Senator Cornyn's amendment that he just passed, which was to conceal
Chairman, I
the
have to respond. Nothing we are voting on today is going to change any of the debate about the Epstein files.
Is
That
that a
debate will continue.
That is not
And if
true.
we don't acknowledge that, I just have to, I really question whether your amendment is actually in good faith or not, because nothing's going to change that. But, Mr. Chairman, my second degree amendment passed, which included striking the Senator Booker's amendment. I believe we've, committee's spoken.
May I respond? He directly referenced me. May I respond, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
So Mr. Cornyn claims that nothing about this would end debate. We're not seeking to end debate. We're seeking to pass legislation out of this committee that would force the disclosure and the transparency and the truth being made public. We had a chance today that Senator Cornyn blocked to make the truth known to the American public. We had the power today, the possibility today, to force out the truth regarding the Epstein files and the lies and the obfuscation that is happening by this administration. What Senator Cornyn did today was to block the truth about what's happening with the Department of Justice and the Epstein file. It is that on its plain truth, no matter how much he wants to try to dodge that truth.
Mr. Chairman, I have to respond.
Well, quickly, because
I
Graham
will
wants to
respond
speak.
quickly.
Take your time.
What Senator Booker
Joe,
is trying to do is to kill this underlying bipartisan bill that will hopefully save hundreds, maybe thousands of lives because of the opioid crisis. It's already taken tens of thousands of lives in this country over recent years because of the Biden open border policies. So I'm simply trying to preserve this bipartisan legislation, again, that will save lives. The debate that he and I are having over the Epstein files, I doubt will be resolved today based on any amendments either he or I offer. So that's the reason for my amendment, because I want to save lives from the opioid crisis. And I believe his amendment is a distraction from that and actually will jeopardize seeing this bipartisan legislation enacted into law.
Mr. Chairman. Mr.
Booker
Chairman.
stood firm from the start. He argued that real issues like immigration and the death penalty were being used as cover. His amendment sought to tie the opioid legislation to the full release of Epstein-related documents. He pointed to victims who deserved answers after years of horrific stories. Reports claim powerful figures have been involved, and the public still wonders what remains hidden. Booker listed prominent voices from both parties calling for the same openness. He wasn't inventing drama. He was shining a light on statements from top law enforcement officials who had spoken about substantial evidence. Pam Bondi, serving as Attorney General, had earlier described truckloads of material connected to these crimes. She and others referenced potential co-conspirators who might never face consequences if the full truth stayed buried. Booker reminded everyone that Epstein may be gone, but the women who suffered are still here with their experiences. He questioned why the committee would turn away from demands by the FBI director and others in high positions. The senator from New Jersey made it clear this push wasn't controversial in the eyes of most Americans. Polling suggested strong support across party lines for seeing everything brought into the light. Yet the response came swiftly. Senator John Cornyn offered a second-degree amendment that would strike Booker's key provisions. Cornyn emphasized trust in the confirmed Attorney General to handle legal reviews properly. He redirected focus to victims of other crimes, including those affected by illegal immigration and opioid tragedies. The Texas senator argued that the underlying bill needed to move forward without complications to deliver real help on the drug crisis that has claimed tens of thousands of lives. Both men acknowledged caring about victims, but their priorities clashed in real time. The exchange grew tense with interruptions and calls for decorum. Booker fired back without hesitation. He accused the counter-amendment of hiding its true intent behind important but separate issues. The first lines of Cornyn's proposal, he noted, directly targeted his transparency effort. This wasn't about avoiding debate on immigration or opioids. It was about whether the committee would use its power to demand disclosure. Booker offered to support the rest of the bill if the problematic sections were removed. He stressed that Republican leaders in Congress had echoed similar calls for openness. Why resist something so straightforward? The room filled with procedural maneuvers as motions and votes loomed. What happened next revealed the messy reality of Senate negotiations. A vote on Cornyn's amendment passed along party lines. Booker's original push became effectively moot. Yet the New Jersey senator continued pressing his point. He warned that blocking the measure allowed potential obfuscation by the Department of Justice to continue. Rumors have swirled for years about what the complete files might show regarding influential networks. Reports claim additional documents could shed light on past associations and unresolved questions. Officials have maintained that major reviews found no single explosive client list, but public skepticism remains high. Booker framed it as a chance for truth that the American people deserved right then. Cornyn defended his position by highlighting the bipartisan nature of the opioid legislation. Delaying or loading it with conditions risked derailing help for families struggling with addiction. He noted promises from the administration and the need for the bill to take effect promptly. Lindsey Graham stepped in to ease tensions, offering to work with Booker on separate concerns about funding for New Jersey. The back and forth showed senators who know each other well trying to avoid a total breakdown. Booker eventually agreed to withdraw his amendment after those assurances. Cornyn followed suit. The underlying bill advanced, but the Epstein discussion was far from over. This hearing wasn't an isolated moment. It fits into a larger pattern of demands that have built since the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed with near unanimous support in late 2025. President Trump signed the measure, directing the release of extensive records. The Justice Department under Bondi later shared millions of pages, videos, and images. Some batches included photos and communications involving high-profile names. Yet critics on both sides pointed to delays, heavy redactions, and materials still under review. Court orders and congressional pressure have kept the issue alive. Speculation online suggests more could emerge about connections that cross party lines and social circles. Bondi's early comments fueled expectations. She spoke of substantial evidence and the importance of victims receiving justice. Later statements from the department clarified that certain claims lacked verification. No widespread blackmail ring or client list turned up in the reviewed files, according to official summaries. Still, unverified accounts and missing interview notes have kept conspiracy discussions active. Some reports mention documents related to past allegations that were partially withheld or re-released after review. The public appetite for complete openness remains strong, especially when elite accountability feels selective. Booker's stand highlighted a key frustration many share. Why does it take such battles to push for basic transparency? The senator drew attention to women with devastating accounts who have waited for years. He contrasted that with the urgency around other legislation. His willingness to withdraw after securing promises on state funding showed pragmatism. But he made sure the record showed what was at stake. Cornyn and allies focused on saving lives through the opioid measure, arguing procedural fights shouldn't jeopardize progress. Both sides claimed a moral high ground on victims. The exchange left observers wondering how much real movement would follow. Beyond the committee room, the Epstein case continues raising uncomfortable questions. Epstein's 2019 death was ruled a suicide, yet doubts linger in some circles. Released files have included flight logs, communications, and snapshots of his associations. Names from politics, business, and entertainment appear, though many deny any wrongdoing. The Trump administration faced criticism for the pace of disclosures despite campaign promises. Democrats and some Republicans have kept pressing for more. Recent hearings and letters show oversight efforts targeting the DOJ's handling. Todd Blanche and others have defended the process while promising compliance with the law. This back and forth in the Senate underscores a bigger truth about Washington. Partisan priorities often shape what gets emphasized. One side sees a cover-up protecting the powerful. The other sees responsible governance that avoids derailing critical bills. Booker's fiery insistence kept the spotlight on Epstein's victims and potential others involved. He refused to let the issue vanish quietly. Cornyn's counter focused on immediate public safety needs from the opioid epidemic. Their debate revealed how even agreed-upon goals like justice and reform can collide in practice. As more files potentially surface, Americans will watch closely. Will additional revelations change narratives or confirm what many suspect? The hearing served as a reminder that persistence matters. Booker walked away without his amendment attached, but the conversation he sparked continues